So last week we made a video about making our first app with Lovable and Anything, which was the financial statement extractor. And now 1 week has passed since then, and currently that app is still not complete. Now what you can see on the screen is a workflow on Anything, and there are two workflows that are there for this app. However, they are not yet giving the final result that is needed. Now this workflow one, it does work, but it took me 5 days to just make it work, and yet the result that it gives is not correct. So the idea of this workflow one is that it will get the PDF, and then it must tell the page number where the balance sheet or the P&L, whichever is asked by the user, located. It gets the PDF, but it is not telling where the page number of the balance sheet or the P&L is located. So currently stuck here at workflow 1, and it will need some more time to make this workable. I'm planning to learn more about N8N and how there will be other ways to work around it so that this app can work what we need, and then we'll proceed to create the front end of this app on Lovable. Whilst I was working on this app, I also tried other things, and I'm going to share it with you guys, those two other things that I built using the AI tools like Claude, ChatGPT or Lovable. So let's move on to those two apps. So the second thing that I tried with ChatGPT and more so with Claude was creating a macro in Excel to create a scenario analysis. I'll explain what this is. So what you see in Excel is in the screen or is an Excel which I've made. This is not any real scenario, but this is a made up scenario. So what is this Excel trying to convey? So let's say this is a company which has two founders and it has raised money from 8 investors. Now 6 of those investors have invested money in the form of equity shares, and 2 investors invested in the form of CCPS. Now the CCPS have a conversion formula which is that if the valuation of company on conversion and the conversion period is 5 years, so from the date of investment they will be converted after 5 years, and if at the time of conversion the valuation of a company is 150 million USD or less, then they should get equivalent to 30% of the stake in the company. So if, and that is for both of them combined, so as they've invested equal amount they will get 15% each. So if the value of the company at conversion date is 130 million, then they should get 130 into 30%, which is 39 million, and that will be divided into half, so each investor will get 19.5 million each. That is the should be the value of their CCPS. If the valuation is above 150 million, then this CCPS will convert as per this formula: 150 million into 30% plus value of the company in USD million minus 150 into 10%. So anything above 150 million, they should only get 10% of it. So if the valuation of the company is say 180 million, so they will get 150 into 30% plus 180 minus 150 into 10%, which is 48. So 30% of 150 is 45, and 10% of the remaining 30, that is 10. And again each of those two will get 24 each. So this is one of the things. So the conversion of CCPS will again determine. So if the valuation is 150, they will get 30%. The equity shares will adjust accordingly. If the valuation is higher, they'll get less than 30%. So the equity shareholders will get more value in the company. Now, apart from the CCPS, the founders have also agreed with investors to get MSOs, and they are based on two targets. One is revenue and the other one is valuation. And the revenue target is for 5 years. And if each of the 5 years they are still employed in the company as CEO and CEO of the company, and the target is met, they will get these stakes. So in year 1, if the revenue is 7 million, then they get 0.2% stake each. If it's 10 million in year 2, then they again get 0.2% each. Then if it's 14 in year 3, then they get 0.25, and again if it's 18 in year 4, it's 0.25 again, and 25 in year 5. So if they meet all the 5 targets, they will be maximum be able to get 1.15% each. And then The last part is if the company gets the valuation of 180 million or higher, then they both get 1% additional stake. A condition that they are in employment of the company as CEO and COO of the company. And another important thing is that MSOP and CCPs should be not be dilutive to each other. So that means that the CCPS formula should work independently and this should work independently. So now this is where computed the stakes, and this is the input sheet. So this says what happened in the 5 years. So at valuation on year 5 was 200 as opposed to target of 180. So they were able to meet the target. Again, in year 1 revenue was 8, target was 7, so they met the target. In year 2 it was 11 as compared to year 10, again they met the target. In year 3 the revenue was only 13 is against the target of 14, so they failed to meet the target. In year 4 it was 18 as equal to the target of 18, and in year 5 the target was 25 but they get 30, and in this one they were all employed with the company. So they achieved 4 of the 5 revenue targets and the valuation target. So now if you see computation of MSOP, we've seen that they were able to get 0.7% from the 0.7% of the they were able to get 0.65% each in the company due to the revenue targets, and they were able to get the 1% valuation target as well. So they both made 1.65% additional stake apart from their equity stake in the company. So now this is the capital structure of company on year 5. The total equity stakeholders is 71%. CCPS converted to 25%, which is 30% of 150 plus 10% of 50. That is 200 minus 150. And the MSOP, as we saw, was 1.65 each, that's 3.3%. And the total stake of each of the shareholders is coming in this sheet. Now, as you know, we are currently at year 0, and this is all a scenario for year 5. Now, let's say one of the investors calls and says, I want to see the stakes at if the target valuation is 200, and if the target valuation, let's say at year 5 is 250, and target valuation is at, let's say, 170. I want to see my stake in all three of these scenarios. So for that, you can of course change, and then you can do one thing is you copy at 200 valuation, you can just copy this in a table and then change it again to 250, and then copy again the new stakes that are computed and then change again to 170 and copy paste this table. But that will take time, and that if they ask for more than one valuation, then it will take a lot of time. So what I did, and this is something similar to what I have to do in my job, and we have to do multiple scenarios where they ask for multiple stake or valuation. So what I did was created a macro which does that automatically. So I'll show you the code for them. So here you can see the whole code of the macro. It is built so that it is customizable for multiple sheets. Although I have not yet tried it on other sheets so far, but it should be workable on other sheets as well. And so let's see how does it do for our main sheet. So I'll just run this macro, and now it will ask for first the name of the scenario. So let's call it scenario 1, valuation 200. Then it will ask for the input range. I'm not able to see the okay. Will ask for input, so I'll select this one as input, and now it will ask for the input value, and then it asks for the output values. So we'll go with here and select all of it. And do I want another output? I'll say no. And this created scenario 1 at valuation of 200. So you can see it got the input 1, valuation 200. It is the source of the input and valuation, and it got the stakes. Now we can obviously format this stakes as percentages, 2 digits, and can format it and share. Now let's change the input sheet and make it 250, and again we will run the macro, and this time name it scenario 2 valuation 250. Again it will ask for the inputs, so we'll go there and select this in the input value, and then we can select the output, and no, and we created the scenario 2 valuation 250 billion. And again we can now see that, compare this. Again we can change the format of this to percentage, 2 digits, and compare the. So if you can see from 200, the first stake of foundation was 23.3% for each both of the founder. It went to 24.21%. And let's say investor 8, 7 and 8, those who invested in a CCPs, their stake at E50 is 11%, while at 200 it was 12.5. So it came down because the value of the company was higher and they had agreed in that way the terms of their CCPs. You can also see the equity stakeholders. Investor 1 got 5.41% of 200, he gets 5.64, and that's because the way as the value rises, the CCPs holders get lower of the value. So this is the stake. We can then run it at multiple valuations and then share this table with the investors. So it's much easier for you than the manual copy pasting. And of course he can also compare the what was, and this is just one of the input that we are sharing. We can try and change multiple inputs as well, and it will work the same way. Although the macro that I showed was for one input, there was another code which does this for multiple inputs, but I was trying to change the interface of the method of capturing the inputs. So this one was more for one input. There is another port which captures multiple inputs. If you want, we can share it with you. So this is the Excel app that was created. And now the final thing that I'm trying to create is another converter. This time it is from Excel to a PowerPoint. So again, if you prepare multiple tables in Excel and then you want them to be presented or a presentable slide in Excel, then this is the tool that I'm trying to create. So what you're seeing on the screen is the interface of Perplexity Labs, and this was the first one that I started with. So I asked Perplexity first to create a prototype for the app, and it created this. Now this does not give you a PowerPoint presentation. It will not download this. This is how, but this thing gave us the starting codes which we can use to move forward. After the Perplexity created these codes, I went to Claude, and then Claude refined it and made this interface. But again, the problem with Claude was the same as Perplexity, that it was unable to download those PowerPoint files. So after this was done, I took this Claude codes to ChatGPT and asked it to create a prompt for Lovable. And from there, we were able to create this app in Lovable, and this is the application that you see it now. Is what is the it is almost there. Some things need to be refined, but it is working. I'll show you how. So I'll click on start creating presentation, upload Excel file, and we'll upload the same Excel that I showed you in this second part of the video. And it says it detected 12 tables across 5 sheets. It shows which tables it found. Now we continue to slide count. I want only one sheet, one slide. So I'll go create one slide. And then this is the, okay, so we have to go back. So one slide is obviously the main slide. So we need to select 2 slides. This need to be stated. So with 2 slides. Okay, 4 slides. Wait. is not changing, so we'll need to update this slider. Anyway, I want to remove this slider. This is not convenient at all. So we create 4 slides. This one is the main slide. Then second slide will be the, now I can choose what I want. So here it is showing table. I can just delete this table and say I want the chart. And now chart, I want the pie chart, data source, sticks, table 1, and it created a chart. This chart again is coming in single color. So this is another one that is WIP. So it should show different colors for all of those 8 investors. So as you can see, this is still work in progress, but it's much closer to completion. And then preview and exports. Currently I've only made one slide, but you can see multiple slides here, and then download the report. And it's able to download the PowerPoint. And and this is what it has come out with. So in the download version, the chart has multiple colors, but the values are all wrong in this chart currently, because it's not picked up the correct values, I think. And enable editing, the values are currently not correct. So the table is also out of the way. So there is still some work to be done in this app to make it the way it should be. Plus, but the idea is pretty simple. You can go into this app, upload your Excel, and then change the slides, create slides from it. You can add text here, you can add table here, and create a background also. So basically you can arrange the slide, move this around, add another table here, so we can make the whole presentation here, and then it's just preview, export, and downloads. Basically from Excel you can get a fully made presentation just in few minutes. So let's hope this should be done pretty soon. Now I'll share you how the steps were for this one. So from Excel to PPT converter, these were the steps that I took. First, create the prototype with Perplexity, then took the code to Claude, which refined the code and made it more better design for it. Then it took that code to ChatGPT and discussed with it and created a prompt for Lovable, and then from that Lovable created the app. So this is the whole process of this application. It's, as you can see, it's still under process, but hopefully it should be done very soon. So of course, as you know, I don't know how to code. This is the first time trying all of these applications, and going through it, there are first few things that I've been learned. So if you are also someone who doesn't know coding or doesn't know technical stuff and starting about this, these 5 things might be very useful to you. First of all, and it requires a learning curve, so it's not a simple device to use, a simple app to use rather. You, and as I have also found out, is requires to learn certain steps to be able to use it. Then the second one is, I think, the big one, that Lovable will run through the credits very fast, and this is clear. So the app that I showed in part 3 started with around 100 credits, and now it's left to only 36 credits. You can see here 36.8 credits left, and it was about 100 yesterday when I started building that. So say is, if you're going to build the whole of the thing in Lovable, you might run out of credits very soon. Then, and this is why the third point is important, you should start it with Claude or Perplexity or something else. And if you are living in India, you should have, and you have the Airtel SIM card, you will be able to get Perplexity Pro for free. And Perplexity Lab allows you to get a good prototype of the app very quickly. So you should start with that code and then go to Lovable later on. Then ChatGPT and Claude are very good at VBA. And if you have worked with multiple Excel or there are multiple repetitive tasks in Excel, you should definitely discuss or brainstorm ideas with ChatGPT or Claude. And I've tried this at work as well. We tried this at work, and it gave us quite a lot of popularity at work. So you should definitely use ChatGPT to automate some of your repetitive tasks in Excel, because they're very good with VBA code. And Lovable is much faster at creating PPT than PDFs. Basically, it was able to create the PPT pretty much at the first go, whereas it's still not able to create PDF. So I think these 5 points may be useful for you if you're trying something out for. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll also share with me what you will be trying to build using these applications. So thanks for watching.